What's up, everybody? In the midst of an industry-wide layoffs, Capcom is going 180 degrees in the opposite direction, which is really cool. The creator of one of Xbox's most beloved, acclaimed series, he gives us his thoughts on Xbox's new business strategy. And lastly, Nintendo continues to dispatch anyone who touches their IPs. All that with plenty more sprinkled in. Welcome to the Couch Consumer live stream. Now we're gonna get to our guests. Okay, we've got Gamer Geek back again. We're missing Panda. He's got something to take care of with his own kiddos today. So, but we do have the sharp commentary. How you doing this morning?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
It was pretty coming down to the wire. Oh my gosh. But this happened it happened on the 1st of March, but the whole anime world is, just found out that yesterday Akira Toriyama, he passed away, age 68. What took me so long, and I'm sorry it did, gamer, I was trying to find my DBZ shirt on the shelf, and I couldn't. So
it's a sad time right now.
Oh yeah,
it just meant so much to so many people, and it's been forever, and that's just, it's a tough loss for everybody. So
something I wanted to do, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it right now, but I'm gonna go through my saves really quick, and it was a collage on Instagram of a lot of the industry directors who looked at Toriyama, and artists who looked at Toriyama as like their reason for getting into anime. I'm gonna try to find that here. Just give me one quick second. While we're waiting, I wanted to ask you, do you have any PS3 games that you want to see updated or remade for the PS5?
Well, I mean, they're already doing Silent Hill too,
yes.
So that's a huge one that I really wanted.
Oh yeah.
I would really love to see them do like the whole trilogy, because I think it was just really important. But two is kind of like the fan fave, so I think that's why they're doing that one first.
Right on. Yeah.
I definitely want to see that Lollipop Chainsaw, but I heard that they were going to do a remake on it, but then recently they said that instead of a remake, they're actually changing it to a remaster, which,
okay.
I mean, I still like remasters, but, I would have really loved to see a remake in today's, engines and stuff like that.
100%, yeah. As long as they can keep the theme of it, I think that'd be fine. But it could be like the Tomb Raider. They kind of made her way more sensitive, whenever they did the remakes for that. I still really enjoyed the games, but PlayStation, I want to say PlayStation 1 Lara Croft, she was all about business. she was an absolute badass. Not saying that this one isn't, but there's a lot more crying in the new ones.
Yeah, the new ones, she definitely is a lot more sensitive, but the old ones, it was just all business. So but I still like the new ones. I'm just a big Lara Croft person. I love Tomb Raider. I forget which one it was. PS3, the one that came out on PS3, and like my sister-in-law and I were just playing the heck out of it.
Right on.
And so I really loved that one. And then the GTAs, like the older GTAs, I'd love to see some remakes on that one, because the original ones were just phenomenal.
At the time, we thought that the graphics couldn't get any better than this. It's like, oh my gosh, this is like photorealistic stuff. I didn't see polygons and shapes and things like that back in the day for some reason. Like if you,
yeah, me either.
it's so crazy. If you would have asked me, like Sonic Adventures and Sonic Adventure 2, it's like, do you think graphics will ever get better than this? I was like, no, this is peak. It's never gonna get better. It's the best it's ever going to be. You know.
I know. Like
Yeah.
I was telling my son actually, because he decided that he was going to play Resident Evil 2 alongside me.
Yeah.
When I was recording it for the channel, and he saw the lickers, and he was like, "Oh my gosh," you know, and just everything he saw. And I was like, "Man, here!" And I showed him some gameplay of Lord Beerus actually.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had done the original Resident Evil 2. And so I was showing him, and I'm like, can you believe that this actually gave me nightmares? Like, the lickers, after we played the scene, the liquor showed up for the first time. I went home, I went to sleep that night, I literally had a nightmare about it. And he was just like, but it doesn't even look real. And I'm like, but it did back then.
Back in the day, it was peak. That was the best it was gonna get.
Yes. I was like, oh my goodness, I just, and then now I'm just like, well, if I'd have played this at that age, like I would have made it through the night.
Right on. So I did find it. I found the tributes to Akira.
Yes.
Let's get into it really quick.
Yes.
All right. So we've got the world mourns death of Dragon Ball's Akira Toriyama. Rest in peace, legend. This has come from Kishimoto. The anime world mourns death of Dragon Ball's Akira Toriyama. I think I read that twice. So Masashi Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto, I've just received news of Sensei's passing. I'm overwhelmed with a sense of loss, even greater than when Dragon Ball ended. I still don't know how to deal with this hole in my heart. I can't even read Dragon Ball, my beloved manga now. I don't feel like I can write this message to Sensei properly. People around the world were still looking forward to Sensei's works. This is true. I was. If there's one wish from Dragon Ball that could come true, I'm sorry. It may be selfish, but I'm sad, Sensei. Thank you, Akira Toriyama Sensei, for your many enjoyable works over 45 years, and thank you very much for your hard work. And that's one of the big three. Like after Dragon Ball, you had Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece. You know, so it's I gotta say, from those juggernauts, you know, calling him Sensei, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely respect. And I mean, it's true though. Like he's the master. He's the one that taught everybody, got everybody into that style. I remember when it all kind of popped off, and I was just like, wow. Because I used to be a really good artist. It was one of my favorite things to do. I kind of stopped when my mom passed away when I was in my senior year. But like that caught me. I was just like, what is this? Like, this is so cool. Look at this. And I would be showing all my friends, and like, you would never see me anywhere. I mean, I literally always had a sketchbook on me. You know? And I just remember how interested I was in this new style. This was so awesome. And then Naruto came out, and like I got my son into Naruto and everything, and it's just, he loves Dragon Ball Z. I haven't even had the heart to tell him yet. I don't know if you saw it on the news or on any of the socials, but I haven't even had the heart to tell him yet. Ruined spring break for him.
Freaking I remember I think I was 8 years old, and we had just moved. We were about an hour and 30 minutes away. I was still really young, and you know, freaking I was gonna miss my friends and, you know, going to someplace new. But I remember Toonami came on in Dragon Ball Z. That was the first anime I'd ever seen, and I was hooked. It's like, even with all the great anime out, like I'm watching the Unwanted Undead Adventurer right now, and it is absolutely amazing. Somehow they got the resurrection style anime without having the resurrection. It's dope. But awesome. Even with that being that, Dragon Ball Z is still my favorite anime by far. It's not even close. I'm still in overwhelming disbelief at the news of Toriyama's sudden death, and this coming from Yuji Horii. I've known Toriyama since I was a writer on Shonen Jump. When I started work on Dragon Quest, wow, I asked him to do artwork for the game at the recommendation of Shonen Jump publishing editor Kazuhiko Torishima. Yes, okay. In 37 years since, Toriyama has designed characters, monsters, and created countless more charming characters for Dragon Quest. The history of Dragon Quest goes hand in hand with Toriyama's character designs. Toriyama and the late Dragon Quest composer Koichi Sugiyama were companions who worked on Dragon Quest with me for a long time. To think they would die, I don't know what more to say. This is truly, truly unfortunate. And this is Ichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece. It's too soon. The void left behind is too large. The sadness overwhelms me when I realize I'll never meet you again. From my childhood, I've admired you. I remember the day I was first called by name. On the way home after the day you used the word friends for us. I remember the joyous moment with Kishimoto-san. I remember our last conversation. Taking the baton from an era where reading manga was considered foolish. You helped create an era where both adults and children enjoy manga. You showed us that manga can do this, that it can take us to other worlds. It felt like watching a hero charting forward, not just for manga artists, but for all the creators who were children during the serialization of Dragon Ball. The excitement and inspiration remains rooted. Your presence is like a giant tree. For manga artists of our generation who stood on the same stage, Toriyama's works became an even greater presence the closer we got. Almost scary, but meeting the laid back, you always made me happy. We love Toriyama Sensei to the core. With respect and gratitude for Akira Toriyama Sensei's rich creative world, I sincerely pray for his peaceful rest. May heaven be the delightful world you envision, Sensei. Let me see if Ben Schwartz, are you kidding me? Hold on, I'm sorry, I didn't look at the whole thing. Akira Toriyama was a legend. Chrono Trigger is quite possibly my favorite video game of all time, and Dragon Quest was one of the first RPGs I had ever played. A huge loss in gaming and anime. What an incredible, inspiring career. Bro, okay.
Yes.
So I love Ben Schwartz, not because of him being the voice for Sonic, but his work on Parks and Recs.
Mm-hmm.
That's so amazing. Crunchyroll, thank you for everything, Toriyama Sensei. Amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna cut it off at the creator of One Piece, but this is kind of cool. Thank you, Akira Toriyama. Amazing. Awesome. We'll try tackling life with as much energy as Goku. We loved every minute. Rest in peace, Toriyama. And so, okay. And that just speaks to how far-reaching his influence was. You know, creating something that he loved, he was able to, you know, around the world, unite us into something, you know, on the same page. But it's on the same page. It's crazy how influential he was. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
There's so much, like, you know, especially as gamers, like we come together with these games, and most of us have like this super pop culture love, like Dragon Ball Z, One Piece,
right,
and so on, and
yes.
All of that really brings us together. And to lose someone that created that for us, it's emotional and very, very hard, and it's just been a sad week. And like everybody's really feeling it, seeing those amazing, beautiful tributes. Just, it's like they're voicing what we're all feeling, and it's really, you know, wonderful to see. I feel like there's so many people that don't get the proper respect necessarily when they mean so much, but it's really great to see that they've really stepped up as far as, you know, he goes, because Dragon Ball Z was like, and I mean, multi-generation. You know, I remember teaching, and people would be drawing Goku. And,
yes.
Like,
that was,
you know,
that was
and
me all day.
Yeah, and like even just like 7 years ago, I was still teaching, and I was just like, man, you know this, like it's pretty cool, you know. So yeah, I'm glad to see that everybody's paying the tribute. That's definitely
Me too.
been a hard week with that. So
Yeah, yeah. Moving on to something lighter. Helldivers 2. They're getting mechs, which is crazy. Oh my gosh, and I wanted to show you this. I wanted to show you this real quick. So apparently, like, they're letting I think I sent this to you, but they're letting the success get to their heads. It's so
yes,
the developer, the head guy, had to come out and apologize for his devs. I thought that was the most hilarious thing I had seen all day. I don't know if I saved
it. Was pretty funny. It's like, oh man, sorry we did this.
Yeah.
And then I was seeing the stuff about like all the weapons and everything. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. People were getting mad that they were kind of nerfing, quote unquote, the weapons. Yeah. But now they're getting mechs. They had to liberate Tia Hein or something. I can't remember the name of the planet.
They did liberate it. That was pretty cool. Yep. And I was excited to see that, especially after that one planet fell. The devastation you saw, like from the gamers. I was like reading through Twitter, and I was like, or X, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I felt so devastated on their behalf. Like,
they're really doing a war campaign. It's real. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's crazy.
I thought about getting into it, but like, I get so like nervous when it comes to playing with other people, especially people I don't know.
Oh yeah.
And then like I can be amazing at something, and then suddenly like I'll get around all these people, and I'm like, oh, I look like a 3-year-old trying to play this, you know, or like I get mad and I'm just like, oh, why aren't you over here? Where were you?
Yeah.
And so for my own mental health, I don't do those online multiplayer games.
Right on. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like all the people that I follow on Twitter that are talking about it, and like stuff that I'm seeing, I'm like, it doesn't seem like it's all that toxic. Like maybe I should try it. You know.
That community seems like one of the good ones. It is one of the good ones for sure.
Like, that's the first one that's really made me like actually consider popping on and playing, but we'll see. I'm still on the fence about it, but so far it doesn't seem toxic, and it seems like everybody's really trying to work together and help each other.
Yeah.
Versus the, oh hey, you spawned in, let me kill you.
Yeah, and it's you guys versus the mechs and the the robots and the bugs. So it's all a common enemy. You're not going after each other. We're going after the same enemy. So I guess
which is really cool.
Yeah, that dynamic, it makes it like the camaraderie, between you guys. I think that's pretty dope. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. Now, don't get me wrong, high praise to Arrowhead, the developers. However, don't get too big for your britches, you know what I mean? Right. But I can't find it. And another thing I wanted to talk about before we get to our main story, what's his name? Roger Clark, the voice of Arthur Morgan. He's doing an audiobook. It's a American history story from the view of Red Dead Redemption, and I think that is super duper cool. So when I played, I played the first Red Dead Redemption and the second one, and I gotta tell you, I liked the protagonist. I can't remember his name. The protagonist from the first one. I love him. Love his voice and everything. But Arthur Morgan takes the absolute cake when it comes to voice acting. His voice was ridiculously good. So I'm considering buying this, and it's American history. History. I kind of love history. So I mean,
I'm a big history nerd.
Yeah,
it's just stuff like that. Like I can't wait for Rise of Ronin.
Yes, that one's gonna be so good. It's kind of the Assassin's Creed that we've kind of all been waiting for,
Exactly.
Waiting for them to hit Japan for a long time, and then, they said, all right, we'll do it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. But the first story I wanted to tackle was that Capcom planning to increase the salaries of all their current devs by 5%, and 28% increase for oncoming devs coming out of school, which I think is super cool. It's an absolute reversal of what we've been seeing with all these layoffs, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, they've been trying to do what did they call it? Like a human resources investment.
That's
where
right.
They're investing in people.
Exactly
and,
right.
And I think that's a fabulous idea. I think more companies should be doing it. Capcom is kind of in a better position to do that because one, their success, and two, like all the money that they're making. But I think the fact that they're being smart on it, like you didn't see like the overhiring with Capcom that you saw across the industry when COVID happened.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, everybody kind of got in that, well, everybody's going to be at home, everybody's going to do all this, and everything's going to stay the same. Which it happened for so much longer than it was expected to. So that's why I think everybody got like a little cocky in the gaming industry. They severely overhired, they severely overinvested. And everything like that, but you didn't see that with Capcom. Capcom had that clear, concise plan. Where they're like, we're gonna do this is the remake that we're gonna do. We're gonna focus on this. We're gonna do that, and they've done that consistently over their lifetime. That I think it put them in a much better position. And I feel like right now they're making the gaming industry look good. And like it's still worth something.
It knows what it's doing, at least a part of it.
Exactly. And then also it's making their devs feel safe. It's making their people feel, you know, valued, feel safer, feel more secure. And when it's that circumstance, they're going to perform better.
That's right.
So it's really awesome that they're doing this. I am just so glad that I'm a Capcom lover because they would have won me over if I wasn't anyway, because they're just being so awesome right now.
Freaking!
I think they increased I think the conversion for US dollars is they moved them to like $2,400 a month.
Holy crap.
Which doesn't sound like a lot to us.
I mean,
but in Japan, I'm sure it is. You know, and that's for the starting devs. You know, and when you say it in yen, it sounds a lot more because it's like 300,000 and some. You know, and you're just like. Ooh.
And speaking of, you've got a Christmas present that you're wearing right now.
I am.
It's like what Capcom represent.
Yes, I am. I am wearing my, I don't think y'all will be able to see it, but I'm wearing my RPD Leon outfit with my lovely Raccoon City.
Awesome. I love it.
So I am wearing that today, representing Capcom and Resident Evil.
Yes. They're doing good things over there. But let's get into the article real quick. Okay, and this is coming from gamesindustry.biz. I wanted to go to the original article, but they like the cookies, you know, it's like, oh, you got to accept the cookies if you want to read this. And I'm like, no. So we're going to do it straight from pocket. And this is coming from James Batchelor. Capcom has announced it is increasing all employee salaries in the coming financial year. So it's going to be 2025 timeframe. The Japanese publisher said it plans to raise pay by an average of over 5% in fiscal year 2024, 12 months ending March 31st, 2025. It is also making a big increase to starting salaries for new graduate hires in fiscal year 2025, rising their base pay from $235,000 per month to, I'm so sorry, $300,000 per month, an increase of 28%. In conjunction with this pay increase for new starters, all current employees, including any new hires in fiscal year 2024, will also receive a one-time additional payment. The publisher said this is part of an ongoing human resources investment strategy, like you were saying, in efforts to invest in people. Since 2022, the strategy has included an average increase of 30% to workers base salaries, the introduction of a bonus system linked to company performance, very cool, and a new employee stock-based compensation system, very, very cool. With this increase, absolutely. So it's kind of like those employee-owned stores. You know, that's freaking cool. With the increase in starting salary, Capcom is pursuing further investment in human capital and the acquisition of exceptional talent, the company said. Now that is absolutely dope. I did save the best for last though, so we're gonna be talking about Nintendo.
Oh, of course. we gotta slam Nintendo at least on my side.
Yeah. It's, my goodness. But great things coming from Capcom. I'm absolutely loving what I'm seeing. You know, with the industry, you know, I think we're up to like 8,000 layoffs this year, or, you know, collectively, and it's just been absolutely brutal to read about these layoffs every freaking week, and to see Capcom, you know, they have a blueprint they're laying out. It's like, hey guys, you don't have to lay off all your people. You can actually give them a raise, you know, if you're doing the right thing. So for the CEO, I don't mind him having a, you know, and I think Capcom, their CEOs don't make multiple millions. I think he caps out at like $1 million or so.
Yeah. Like
USD. So for one, that's really awesome on him. You know, it's a total like contrast to the CEOs like at, you know, PlayStation or who's getting like $21 million a year, or I've seen some upwards of hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Yeah. Well, it's ridiculous because I'll be making all this money and then they'll be like, oh yeah, well, this $1 million house in Milan, you get to use, you know, 6 months out of the year or whatever. Like, it's just, you know, they're making stupid money. And then on top of that, you get all these perks, and it's the perks that are really screwing people over. Like, you know, if I have a beach house and I'm letting my CEOs and my CFO and everything else go there, you know, they're spending more time there than they are at work. Yeah. And just like we saw with Embracer, like they over invested, they over purchased, they overdid everything because everybody just kind of got in this mindset that, oh well, it's going on 2 years, so it's probably going to stay this way. Which is insane because nothing ever stays the same. Like right now, they're even talking about, you know, let's push for this cloud-based gaming because all the kids are just going to want to game on their phone, and maybe we don't need consoles anymore. Which I would absolutely hate. Like, me too. Yeah. Any true gamer is actually teaching their kids to play on consoles. So I don't believe that consoles are going to die 100%. No, they're not going away. I would hate that, you know, especially because think about it, you know, they do so many things. They stream, they do all sorts of stuff. Yep. So I would really hate to see them go away, but I understand that they're talking in terms of like, hey, let's do this cloud-based gaming and everything. Yeah. That's all well and good. My son sat there for probably 45 minutes last night at dinner trying to pull up Xbox Cloud Gaming to show his brother something. So at least my console is faster than that. Right. I'm not bashing Xbox. Nobody think that. But what I'm saying is that, you know, when you're doing a cloud-based gaming, you are very much constricted to this is your network connection where you are. It's probably not going to be that great. If you're doing it on mobile data, you will get like 5 minutes of good gameplay and then they're going to throttle you. And then you're not going to get the gameplay that you want. Right. So I think that people and companies need to think about that as well. Yeah. You know, and then back to what we talked about weeks ago, the digital stuff, you are paying the same amount as you would for a physical disc, but all you're doing is paying for the license to use it. You do not own those games. Yeah. Period. You do not own those movies.
Yeah.
You do not own that music.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that people seriously
Mm-hmm.
need to learn about.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like with Crunchyroll, those customers are finding out the very hard way.
Yeah.
They paid for all the stuff the same amount that they would the physical, and now it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
With the Crunchyroll one, the thing that lessens the blow for me is that they bought the physical media, and Crunchy or Funimation gave them the code to be able to stream it. So that kind of does lessen the blow for me. But still, everything that you just said is exactly right.
Exactly. Well, Crunchyroll and Funimation really did come together to try.
Yeah.
And that's a lot different than Discovery Sony. You know, like I bought
this is so true.
I bought 7 seasons of this show, and now
gone.
Where are they?
Gone.
Oh, I don't get them back. Oh, there's no refund? What do you mean it was in the
exactly.
terms and services that nobody reads?
Yes. I'm gonna need a representative to step in and say, hey, that's basically stealing. We're gonna need you guys to come up with a plan to give people refunds if they buy your product and you defunct or whatever the case may be, or you're not able to, or well, I mean, I guess Netflix isn't a great example, but just a way to prevent people from losing their the content that they paid for. They absolutely need to step in and stop people from doing that.
I know, and you would think like the FTC would have stepped in on something like this, because I get licensing and everything like that, but if you're going to sell something to someone for the same amount that you would a physical, then there needs to be some sort of guarantee of, well, okay, so you'll have it for this amount of time, we'll give you this percentage back. I mean, maybe not 100% refund, because it could be 10 years that you have that. I get that, but there needs to be some sort of compensation or some sort of vouchers, some sort of plan put in place where they either get money back or they get automatic licensing for wherever it's switched to. There needs to be protections put in place. But with so much other stuff going on in the world, nobody's thinking about that. Like, that's not high on the list, unfortunately.
Right.
I know that I think it's Activision Blizzard is actually considering making the largest union that we have for devs.
Yes.
I saw something come across my feed last night, and I think like if gamers could get some sort of thing going, like, hey, we need protections or like something, like it would be really cool. I think definitely getting some sort of representation somewhere, so that there's some protections going around would be the way to go.
Right on. So I'm a little bit split on that, just because I know that some unions will kind of take advantage, of that, and provide minimal protections for the people that are in the union. So like YouTube Music, they were just trying to unionize. Did you see that video? It was, oh my gosh, it was absolutely nuts. They were talking to were they in the Senate? I can't remember where they were, but they were talking to someone, and during that they found out that they all had been laid off. Crazy, absolutely nuts. You run the risk of that happening too. It's like if you get a company, you unionize, they just kind of just let you all go. You know what I mean? So that right there, that is also a fear too.
Like a lot of people have the misconception that unions protect you and that nothing can happen to you if you have a union. Right. That is absolutely not true. Yeah. It's kind of weird because it's like you join a union, you're paying to be part of that union out of your wages. It automatically comes out of your wages. And then, like say, let's use like a real simple example, like hierarchy. Like I've worked here longer than so and so.
Right.
But now so and so is jumping ahead in hours.
Yeah.
Where I should be the one getting those hours or something, right?
Yeah.
So you go to the union, you talk to them about it.
Yeah.
They just try to talk, whoever your union rep is, which is somebody that works with you, will go and like talk about it to your supervisor. Well, then what stops that supervisor from being a jerk to you?
Yeah.
You go to the union and you go to HR and they do that, but it's this big give and take. I felt like the one and only time that I joined a union after I got out of the military, it was probably the biggest waste of money and time in my life.
Right on. Okay.
Which not all of them are, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not like police unions or fire department unions where you've got lawyers and all these protections for you and representatives. It is absolutely not like that in most places.
Yeah.
The Cats decided that they needed to say their piece too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm for unions as far as, hey, we're all getting together, we're talking about what we want, let one person go take it. I get that, but as far as, I mean, it's not going to save everybody from getting laid off. It's not going to save.
That's right.
Their pay and stuff like that. Hey guys, I know you're upset about the pay and the layoffs. Come on.
Right on. Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, I'm right there with you. 100%. Oh my gosh. But I hope it works out for them. It's not like Activision doesn't have plenty of money, or Xbox now, I guess.
Right.
But let's hop into our next story. The creator of one of Xbox's most iconic franchises, he has something to say about Xbox's new business strategy. And I
guys.
Oh, I really appreciate him coming up and stepping up and saying something, because the Xbox community has been kind of not fractured, but there are a lot of people who don't like the direction that Xbox is going, and so
which is understandable. The Cats don't like it either. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, I think that a lot of fans when we were still up in air about, what is Xbox going to announce? Are we just giving all our games to PlayStation and such? You got a lot of the, well, why should I even have an Xbox then?
Right.
Which, I mean, that's not the whole point. Think about it. Things are... Stop it. Things aren't that dire. Yes, if Halo goes to PlayStation, that does suck because it's not, you can't go, oh, well, I'm better because I have Halo, and stuff like that. But the software and the hardware are still something that you liked. You know what I mean? There's something that you love. There's something about that system that keeps you on that system.
Yeah.
So people that just went out and started selling their stuff, especially before an announcement, I was just, why? Why are you being so crazy?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that considering he worked at Sega, Xbox, and is now at EA, I think he's got a lot of valuable insight. Because he was there when Sega went. I did read through the article, and I totally get what he's saying on a lot of it, and then on other parts, I'm like, well, I get it, but it could be like some of the stuff that you're talking about. It's okay to think about it, but if you start trying to gear towards it too much, you could hit that same wall you did with everybody's going to be home forever. Gaming is just going to be a permanent thing.
Yeah.
So I think they need to be careful.
Yeah. Right on. But let's get into the article real quick.
Yes.
So I had to scroll back up, but we've got Matt Karoglu I want to say that's how to pronounce it. But Gears of War creator Cliffy B offers his thoughts on Xbox exclusives going multi-platform. During a recent Game Rant interview, Gears of War creator Cliffy B comments on Xbox exclusive games possibly adopting multi-platform models. I'm not gonna lie, I think that is the future, and I think as the holdovers, Sony is starting to, and Nintendo, I don't think they ever will. But with someone like Sony, I think they're going to have to become okay with the fact that having their games on, you know, Xbox and PC, and you know, I know someone's going to be like, God forbid Game Pass, you know, that's going to bring more players to their ecosystem. I do believe that it has the strength to bring people into their ecosystem. Plus, the more gamers you have playing your game, the more money you have, the more money that you can get. If you're fishing from the same small pond every time you release a game, you know, your returns are going to be, you know, relative to that size. And if you get into a bigger pond, more gamers can, you know, buy your game. So that means more money for you, which with the way, you know, with how expensive their games are to develop, they're gonna need that. So I know, right? Yeah, no kidding.
And if, like you said, like, you know, instead of being in this pond, let's release it into the ocean. You know, they've got the ability to not only recoup everything that they spent on making the game, but that can begin to cover, this is what we're doing as far as consoles, you know, to make up for the money that you might not get on console.
Yes.
I think that the way that they can combat it is, yes, we're going to put it on everything. We're going to try to do the same quality game, but my hardware can do this, and my hardware can do that. Yeah. That's where those differences are going to come.
Yeah.
I do this a lot on X, but gaming is gaming. Period. I love games and I love gaming.
Yep.
I'm not going to just be like, forget this game because it's on Xbox.
Right.
Or forget that game because it's on PlayStation.
Right.
Or, oh, yeah, well, only Nintendo has this one. No, I have all three systems in my house.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I can afford that necessarily, but it's also been over the last 3-4 years that I've been able to do that.
Yeah.
So I get where people are like, I can't afford to buy multiple consoles. Okay, that's fine. You might have to buy one. Yeah. Opening that up because somebody might need to go to Xbox because it's cheaper than PlayStation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, my biggest one is Hellblade.
Yes.
Like, I'm mad as heck that Hellblade 2 is only going to be on Xbox.
Me too.
Why? Is because it was on all of them.
Yeah.
When the first one came out.
Yep.
So I feel like you isolated a ton of the fan base, and you're kind of punishing them.
Right.
You know, alongside of it. Had it been an Xbox exclusive from the get-go, that would have been different.
Oh, sorry.
But I absolutely think that they should start opening stuff up. Yes, go ahead and keep some exclusives, but go ahead and release some of them out into the wild right away, and then others, why can't you do it where in a year it comes over here? Or 6 months it comes over here to Xbox. Like, I'm going to do this release on PlayStation, you've got this many months, and then it'll come to Xbox, and vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, see, Microsoft scooped up Ninja Theory in 2018.
That's
after
right.
Hellblade came out. Yep.
That's right. And that's why it's the Xbox exclusive. Freaking guys. And I wasn't on this train, but you know, I was wanting to see what would happen with the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. You know, I was more intrigued than anything. But the fact that, you know, their get good is just buying up all these studios, it's really starting to grind me down. It's because I was a huge fan of the first game and I wanted to play the second game. I was super excited for the second game, and now I can't play it because Xbox owns it. It's like, come on now. But the 4 Xbox exclusive games Microsoft said were going multi-platform were recently confirmed. We're gonna skip down a little bit just because when they talked to Cliffy B, they when it say Starfield was rumored, Gears of War was rumored to be coming over to other platforms, but our conversation focused on Cliffy B's comic series Scrapper. But as the rumors were rampant at the time, the conversation did veer toward the topic of Xbox's potential multi-platform titles, which was only rumored at the time. While Gears of War is not one of the IPs going multi-platform, at least at this time, Cliffy B thinks the strategy is ultimately a good thing. And I tend to agree with him. I've played Gears of War. It's a fantastic game. If they put it on a PlayStation, I would totally buy it. And that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see this narrow doorway open up, bridge the gap between PlayStation and Xbox, because I'm mainly a PlayStation user, but I like Xbox games too.
Same here, yeah.
But I want to see them bridge that gap and find a happy medium to where both parties win, and ultimately the gamers. That's what I want to see. There's little denying the success of Gears of War franchise, with the property successfully crossing the 1 billion earnings threshold 10 years ago, and continuing to serve as one of the Xbox ecosystem's premier exclusives. Alongside Halo, obviously, fruit franchises have had the impact on the Xbox success as Gears of War. This is very, very true. The rumors at the time had many asking if Gears of War would be one of the titles to go multi-platform, or would eventually. Somewhat unsurprisingly, series creator Cliff Bleszinski makes the point that this could only be a good thing if it did, allowing an entire legion of new fans the chance to experience the entire Gears saga. And the presumably in development Gears of War 6, when asked about the potential for Gears to come to PlayStation, Bleszinski remarks, in the words of Ronald Reagan, I'm showing my age, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. And it feels like that. It absolutely does feel like that. I think that's what Phil Spencer's going for. He's going for the Netflix model, and that is a very, very winning model. The developer or the studio that gets this right, and it's got to be a bigger one, because you got to have a huge what do you call it?
You gotta have that huge fan base and that power.
Yeah,
basically, like that star power, that huge hit
in the catalog of games. You got to have the games to kind of back that up. You know what I mean? That's what the word I was thinking of catalog.
Like Xbox. I mean, Bill Gates definitely was like, I'm not going to stop at Xbox, because he didn't make a dime off of the original Xbox. But without Halo, Xbox would not have carried it.
I truly believe that. Yep.
And then you get Gears of War in there, and that's another huge one.
Yep.
So, you're gonna, if you open it up, you're gonna get all that money that you're missing out by not having a multi-platform.
Yeah.
Because obviously having the exclusives isn't working the way that you want to as far as your hardware goes.
Right. Yeah.
So opening the door, like just kick that sucker open.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can do, well, it'll be, it launches on April 1st. So it won't come, it'll be on Xbox exclusively for, I don't know, like 3 months. And then we'll open it up to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Kind of like how they did with Hogwarts Legacy, which sucked, but it came out on new gen, and then it came out on Xbox One and PS4, and then later it came out on Nintendo.
Yeah.
You could do something like that, and you can get those huge sales, but still allow it to be multi-platform. You can still get that, hey, I got first pick type thing.
Yes.
And so I think it's the smartest thing that they could be doing right now. And Sony, they're obviously in a better position. They're selling way more, but they decided that they were going to put a stupid projection. Honestly, like, you're in the middle of a recession and you're going to try to put it at this high of a goal for your console sales right now. Like that, like, you shot yourself in the foot. I don't 100%. Feel bad for you. Yeah. And so if they would like like how they're doing now. They're starting to put more stuff out on PC. Well, look how much money they're making now. Look how successful those are on PC. And I'm sorry, but you know, yes, I get that it's an industry. I get that it's money. I get that it's stockholders and everything like that, and that you're in a competition. But if a year later or 6 months later, whatever, if you would give your IP, like if you would have put Horizon Forbidden West out on Xbox, do you realize how much bigger you'd be right now?
Oh my gosh.
I guarantee you, people have computers. Trust me, everywhere. People don't have computers that can play these type of games. It's expensive to do.
And with that, just a couple things. What you're saying about the PC thing, they should have done that. They would have been a much better spot right now. And as far as console sales, I don't think anything will ever reach, like I think the PlayStation 4 sold like 115 or 117 units. I don't think they'll ever see numbers like that again. So
I think PlayStation 2 was actually at least up until I think 2022, 2023. PlayStation 2 was still the number one selling console.
I think it still is. I think it still is at the top spot. I want to say the Switch is nipping at its heels, but it hasn't beat it yet.
Well, the Switch kind of has the best of both worlds, which is why it's become so successful.
Yes. And when you combine the console with the handheld, that is such a winning strategy. Like I love stories like that. Like they were about to get left in the dust by PlayStation and Xbox, because Xbox is, a really good console too. They have some bomb games, but they all got together. They're guys. Talk about CEOs that deserve the salaries that they get, right? They got together and were like, we're gonna change the game. We're gonna go this direction, and it paid off big time for them. I love seeing stories like that.
I think they were trying for something similar with the Wii U. And and I know the Wii U flopped, but like for me personally, like it was awesome. As long as my kid, his bedroom was right next to the living room, so like he could go in his room and play on the gamepad, and I could be watching my movie. That was fantastic. I loved that. That was great. But like if he went to my room, he would lose the connection. So like you have to be within so close to it. So I mean, they started that with the Wii U, and then I think they said light bulb, and I don't know how they managed to do it, but they did. And I just like that's the first thing I pack, like before I even pack my clothes before I'm going on a trip. Is that I pack up my Xbox, my controllers, my iPad, my PlayStation controller, because like I said, I can remote play into there. But the thing is with the Switch is that I have all these games I can play on the go. Whereas if I'm remote playing into my PlayStation 5, I'm kind of stuck on whatever I have digital or whatever disc is in there.
Right. So
it's definitely a winning strategy. Those CEOs and the research and development really hit it out of the park.
R&D.
And they found their sweet spot, and so now they need to hit the PlayStation and Xbox wave where they just keep improving upon it.
100%, yes. And that's what a more powerful console or machine, and just kind of, I think, make it a little bit bigger and sleeker. I think that right there, they don't have to do anything gimmicky like a dual screen or anything like that. A folding screen, and like what the cell phones are doing now. They don't have to do anything like that. Keep it simple. It's the KISS strategy. But where were we? Like Netflix, they realized they need to be on every device. People have been joking about Gears of War coming to PlayStation for well over like a decade. And I think the more the merrier. If people own a PS5 and get to play and experience the next gen Gears games, that means more Gears of War tattoos. One of the things I learned from one of my heroes, John Romero, is that he's very good at reminding people about his past as he's guiding them towards his future in regards to his career. I have no problem encouraging Gears fandom. I embrace it 100%. Yeah, I agree 100% with what he's saying. So, to kind of, put a fine point on all that, and I want to get your perspective on this too. I want to see a strategy for PlayStation and Xbox where gamers get to enjoy the best of both worlds, but the companies get to get an advantage too. It's not just like kind of a one-sided thing. Both are winning. I want to see that happen.
Agreed. Like I said, if they did it where it was, I mean, you could even do it where, like, if you license it to Xbox, I get, like, your profit margin is X amount and my profit margin is going to be 5% higher.
Yeah.
Something like that. You can do it like where you're making more. Regardless, you're going to be making money. Xbox will be making money.
Yeah.
The whole point is that you want your IP to be as big and as successful as possible.
Yeah.
By saying, no, this is my toy, you can't play with it.
Yes.
they're not reaching everybody with that IP that they could. So, like, say One Piece, I'm gonna stay over here and I'm not gonna even put it out in America. Forget them.
Dang, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, so now you've got your base over here, but you're not making as much as you would if you said, let me open the door and give it to the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, so when Nintendo came out, it came out in Japan first. Obviously, it's a Japanese system.
Right.
But then they put it out in America. How much more did they make because they put it out in America?
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I think the video game companies need to start thinking of it in terms of, I want to get it in front of as many people as possible.
That's right. Yeah.
So Sony late to the game,
yes,
but definitely is starting to realize that by putting things out on PC, which is great because there are so many PC gamers. I'm never gonna be able to afford to be that PC gamer.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Same. Same.
Because I am also, I know with my computer, just like when I was on PC, it was constantly, let me upgrade this, let me do this, let me do that. My son's the same way. He's so cool. The older one that was visiting last weekend, he's constantly like upgrading things or trying to find new stuff. And that's all well and good if you've got the money at the time. Yeah. I don't. That's why I prefer consoles.
Right. And yeah.
So like, but there's so many people out there that have gaming PCs. Like, well, this is the specs and this is what I need and this will help me with my job. And then all of a sudden you realize that you can play a video game on it because it meets all the requirements.
Right.
That's a brand new gamer that you've got who doesn't have a console and who can't get a console. So you've got that ability, but just PC is not enough.
Yeah, exactly. That's
So
yeah, they're going to have to, and like you were saying, Sony is showing up late to the party. They're the only ones. Freaking Xbox. I feel like it's been kind of Xbox has been chasing the hot girl, and PlayStation has been like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for a commitment, right? And
I'm just gonna stare from across the room and wish.
Right, and so I think that Sony is finally getting to a place where, they're ready for love. They're ready to accept Xbox's advances. You know what I mean? Because if they don't, they will fall behind. That is a guarantee. That is a guarantee.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Let's see. That was. I think you put a really fine point on that. I love the example of keeping your toy and not letting anyone play with it. That is wow. Talk about a fine point. That's awesome.
I mean, like, if I would have let my friend borrow that toy, imagine the sale that would have gotten it. And then they let somebody borrow that toy, and
there you go.
They went out and bought the toy. You know,
there you
like,
go.
You just got to look at it in terms like that. And the thing is like, okay, so Sony is starting to do on PC. They're not gonna. I bet you they won't release PC same day as they do their IP on their console. Yeah. But if they would do it within this amount of time. I'm telling you, PC gamers spend a lot on their PCs.
They do.
and they love them. They have that preference, just like, you know, all of us have our preference with our consoles. So they're going to wait for that game. You know what I mean? So if they would definitely earlier than 2, 3, 10 years, give the PC that copy. But if they would also do the same thing, like say, I'm launching day one here on PlayStation. In 3 months, it's coming to PC. In 6 months, it's coming to Xbox.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna still get. People might still buy their console under that. It can still work that way, but then you're opening the door and you're hitting that bigger demographic and getting more money by allowing multi-platform.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm right there with you.
So, I think that would be the smartest way to go in order to save these companies in the long run.
Okay.
My cat agrees. He just flipped his tail up.
We do have. Here, let me see. I'm gonna move this down real quick. I'm so sorry. But we have a couple chats, and I'm gonna put those up on the screen here in a second. Okay, let's see. There we go. TMPP 1109. Yo,
what's
mom.
up, little dude? What's up, Gamer Geek Jr.?
Nice. Okay.
He's watching from the car.
Oh, right on. Good deal.
Wii U like fell off. Yeah, it did, buddy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was the one thing that got Nintendo to reevaluate their strategy. It's like, you know what? we need a hit is what we need. Yeah. And they got it. They did good, man.
They did. They finally found their console that can do it all. And then they're not. See, the best part about the Switch strategy is now I'm not making a handheld and a console. Yeah. So now they're all one. Yep. The games are across the board. Yep. So now I'm going to make maximum money because it's not somebody choosing one of them.
Exactly right. Holy crap. That's awesome. Yes. Yeah. Because
so now they've hit their sweet spot. So now they can be like PlayStation and Switch 1, 2, 3, 17.
Do you think anybody else is going to copy that? You think they'll do that?
I would. I'm not gonna lie. I'd love to see something like that.
Me too.
Like, if they if PlayStation Portal wasn't just simply a remote play,
yeah,
it would have been like off the charts. Like if it would have been something. I mean, they didn't necessarily need to make their own games like the Vita.
Yeah.
But if they would have, you know, I mean, anybody that has PlayStation Network has at least some sort of digital library.
Yeah.
Because they get those free games a month. You know, anybody that was around during the pandemic and their GameStop was closed or whatever was closed or sold out, they're buying these different copies. So if you at least gave them the ability to have their library, their full library available, I think that it would really work. I think that would be a smart thing. I mean, the Portal's selling pretty well. I'm seeing things about like, hey, here's the next drop and here's how to track it and everything.
Yes.
If I was on the go more, I probably would get a Portal just because I know that their remote play connection is going to be better.
It's pretty good.
Than just trying to get into my iPad and doing it that way.
Yeah.
But I can't spend that much money on something that's just remote play.
Yeah.
Like if I could access my whole digital library, that'd be a different story.
Right. Well, I think you can. because it's just basically your PlayStation 5. But I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying. If it was that plus being able to, you know, not have to rely on your PS5, that would be great.
And the thing's big enough; it can put a CD in there.
Oh yeah, I think.
Let me make it where I can play my games a little bit. It'll be fine.
This is hilarious, right? So I have a theory that the Portal is one update away from being the next Vita. I think that's what they're gonna do. I think what they're gonna do is just, you know,
if they go that way, you can take my money.
Right on.
Because the Vita, okay, that thing came out what, in 2007?
Yeah, it was a long time.
You realize I still have my Vita.
That's so dope.
And it is still kicking butt. The screen still looks amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Still looks primo, okay?
Yeah.
And it was just so underrated.
Yes.
And so overlooked. They took some stuff away from PSP that would have been great on the Vita.
Yeah.
They were trying to do that PSTV thing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if it went the way that Vita did, like, I mean, here, take my money.
Yeah.
Like, I might have to sell one of my kids, but I'm getting it.
I want to say it was a PSP in 2000, because it was right after I got out of boot camp. So that would have been 2008. It was 2008 when I got out of boot camp, and I went and got a PSP, and I got God of War Chains of Olympus, one of the best, man. I tell you what. And side tangent, that's one of the reasons I'm super mad at Kingdom Hearts right now, is because God of War was able to make a self-contained story, make it amazing, and it didn't affect the main flow of, you know, the trilogy.
The main storyline, yeah.
But Kingdom Hearts, they went and lost their minds. Their story is basically freaking spaghetti at this point. It's like, dude, what is it? You know, but they had all these stories on, you know, these handheld games or the handheld consoles, and they were a part of the story. And I'm like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Why did you do that? It's like a lot of us, or some of us, didn't have, you know, the console that it was on, and I got left behind by that story.
So there was no continuity.
Yeah. So Square Enix just screwed up. Oh. Oh, it's all right. We've got
Yes.
nice. Oh yeah. Do you need to wrap up soon, or what?
Probably soon, but we've
Okay.
got 5 minutes. I'm just gonna shut the door real quick.
Okay. Right on.
1 second, guys.
Okay. Gamer will see this when she gets back, but it's Gamer Junior, who can't get a console but yet can afford a 1500 plus PC. This is true. So we've got like
that is true, dude.
yes.
Like that's kind of what I was trying to say earlier.
And then
I'd pay 600 versus that.
exactly. It's like, you know, you're looking at a lot of money for a gaming PC. I know, you know, you can find people that can, you know, hook you up for cheaper, but if you want no drop frames, if you want to play in, you know, whatever, 4K 60 or whatever, you've got to have a high-end PC, you know. So yeah.
And you can build it yourself, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and no matter what YouTube shows you, like, yeah, it's easier than it was 20 years ago to understand how to build it, but like you still got to know
Mm-hmm.
how to build a PC in order to do it yourself.
Right. And know what those numbers mean and everything like that. Like
because I wouldn't put it past somebody to buy this motherboard because they heard it was great, and then they're going to buy this processor and it doesn't fit this motherboard.
exactly right. You've got to know what you're doing with that.
Or yeah.
Yep.
And it's people don't always understand that, or they'll be like, okay, well, I got the right stuff. They throw it in. You forgot the thermal paste, so now you just ruined
There you go. See?
that PC. Like,
Exactly.
so much could go wrong with trying to build your own if you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly right. Oh my gosh. Which is fine. Here what I find okay, which is fine.
Which I find crazy.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, by the
my
PC.
connection.
Yeah.
He says I miss playing your Vita.
You can play when you get back from spring break, little dude.
We got JT Gamer. Help! I got beat on the first Street Fighter fight. What do I do to get better? And then we've got.
I would watch dad and kids play.
Huh.
I know that they're doing Marvel versus Capcom.
Get out of here.
Yeah, but they teach you some amazing tutorials, and if you can learn how to fight on there, you're gonna be able to pick up that Street Fighter pretty well. And it's just dad and then the letter N and then kids play.
I think my son watches that channel.
Yeah, and then you can actually get to another channel of his as well through there and everything, and it'll really help. So I would definitely check that out. I know that he doesn't have Street Fighter necessarily 100%, but like I said, he does such good tutorials on fighting games that you're seriously going to pick something up, and especially if you go to the secondary channel. Yeah, it's really awesome.
Right on. Okay. We've got you got to get the right parts. This is true. And then especially with the motherboards and stuff. Right on.
See, I'm teaching him well.
Yes, that's good. He'll be able to build his own PC. So we're going to get into our last one. And so Nintendo is notorious for smacking down any emulators or any mods that would even get close to sniffing their IPs. So we've got here, let me bring it up. Yeah, we got it. Let's see if we can open the original. Gizmodo, you're the MVP over here.
Yep. But I know I got a message from which YouTubers? Oh, BRG Kasumi sent me a message and asked if we could cover the emulator story this week.
Oh, right on.
Like, sure.
Heck yeah.
Sure.
Let's get over to the story. All right, so we've got Switch emulator developers will shut down and pay $2.4 million to Nintendo. Absolutely crazy. That's another thing. These high penalties. I don't know if it has anything to do with the cost of their IPs. I think it's more so trying to make an example out of people so that it disincentivizes people from emulating or modding Nintendo IPs. Yeah. But it could very well be that too. But I know that they are relentless when it comes to this. The developer behind Yuzu bent the knee to Nintendo's legal pressure after just 1 week and are shutting the emulator down. I wouldn't say bent the knee. There was nothing else that they could do. Whenever I hear bend the knee, a negative connotation comes up. I don't think that they surrendered, but they
didn't have a choice.
Right. I don't think it was them just acquiescing. It was more so, if you don't freaking do this, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
It was like, let's settle for this. I mean, think about it. They're agreeing to pay $2.4 million.
Yeah.
The guy, I forget his name, but the guy that just got out of jail.
Yes.
He was modding systems.
Yeah.
And he owes $10 million.
He's got the same name as someone. I can't remember.
So think about how much more you would have had to pay as a company had you let it go to judgment. Because if they did that to just a single person, knowing that person is never going to be able to pay $10 million out of their pocket after getting out of jail.
That's right.
Imagine what they would have done to a company.
Yeah.
So it's not that they bent the knee. It's just that they were smart and went the easiest way.
Yeah. Maxwell Zeff, buddy, come on now. Nintendo has a history of not just stopping video game pirates, but ruining their lives. The Mario Maker sued Yuzu, a notorious free emulator of the Nintendo Switch, just last week. On Monday, the developers behind Yuzu agreed to shut down the website entirely and pay Nintendo $2.4 million, according to court documents. Citra, another free and open source emulator for Nintendo's 3DS, run by the same company, will also shut down. So, this is a statement coming from Yuzu. We write today to inform you that Yuzu and Yuzu support of Citra are being discontinued, effective immediately, said Bunny. I think that's how that's pronounced. Bunny? Bunny? I don't know. In a post on Monday, a lead contributor on the emulators. We started the projects in good faith, out of passion for Nintendo and its consoles and games, and we're not intending to cause harm. Right on. The developers behind Yuzu and Citra, Tropic Haze, were video game lovers and made products to enable greater access to Nintendo's games. However, this involved piracy and theft, according to the court. The website yuzuemu.org will immediately transfer to Nintendo, and Yuzu creators are legally barred from creating anything like it. Let's see. Nintendo claims Yuzu's entire purpose was to circumvent Nintendo's copyright protections. It didn't help Tropic Haze in court that Yuzu software was often used to leak game content before its official release, according to Yuzu's admins.
Like Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
and that's where Nintendo had the biggest problem.
Right on. I want to get into some of those comments real quick too, and then we'll get off here so you can get back to the real life.
Yeah, I get it. One thing real quick though.
Yes.
I know a lot of people hear emulator and think illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Emulators are not illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Emulators, okay, so like if I backed up my entire Xbox library
mm-hmm.
and put it into a form that could be run on the emulator, and I still owned those games,
mm-hmm.
but now I don't have to worry about the CD getting ruined, broken, or whatever, and not being able to play that game, or I've moved over to, because emulators also make it look better than OG software with rendering and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Emulators aren't illegal. Playing emulators are not illegal.
Mm-hmm.
What is illegal is the going to a specific website and pirating it. And that's the problem. However, Nintendo does not distinguish, because a lot of these will come with preloaded stuff. For current gens, current generations or even the previous generation, so like Wii U, I don't necessarily think that you should make those emulators until they're out of their life cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Simply and a little bit into the new life cycle than do the previous generation.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. The whole thing for me, emulation is a way to preserve these games. Yeah. Because those cartridges from Nintendo barely worked when we had Nintendo. Like, come on, guys.
True. You had to blow into them.
Yeah, and I get that now, like, Switch has Nintendo Online and they have their own emulation.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine and dandy, but you don't have Super Mario Land.
Mm-hmm.
You have Super Mario Land 2 on Game Boy, but you don't have Super Mario Land, so where am I going to play that?
Yeah.
I'm going to play it on my emulator.
Right on.
So on and so forth.
Yeah.
Or like, I had all these games, but somebody borrowed my Nintendo 64. Now I don't know where it is.
Right.
But I have my emulator. Emulation, I believe, to me, is a way of preserving all of our games and all of our gaming history.
Right on.
It's something that I think we need and that should be supported, because hey, they're trying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Nintendo decided to do Nintendo Online and give every single game available that was on all their systems on their emulators, then yeah. I could see Nintendo shutting down emulators of their consoles, but they're not.
Right.
They're not giving us all the games. What was it, like 287 available for what? Like, I think Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Or something.
Crazy.
I don't have those on the Nintendo Online emulator. I know it takes a lot to do, but why don't you take these emulation companies, make a deal with them quietly, shut them down, and bring them onto your staff and have them do it for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, instead of just being insane,
mm-hmm.
and suing everybody. Like,
yeah.
Let's preserve the games, but if you're not going to make the games, all of them,
mm-hmm.
100% available to your fans in your Nintendo Switch Online emulators,
mm-hmm.
then you shouldn't be stopping the emulators that happen. I do understand, like, okay, I don't want a Switch emulator. I don't think that's right, because the Nintendo Switch is in its current generation.
Right. Yeah.
Now, a Wii U or a DS, yes, give me an emulator, because those are not around anymore. Not really.
Yeah.
You know,
I think they just shut down support for the Wii U, so they shut it down like maybe last year or something like that.
I think it was last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just insane. Like, don't take away the history, or don't take away our ability to pass it on to the next generation, because that's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
I want to be able to pass everything on to my son.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Right on. Okay. Let's get into some of the comments real quick. It said, why did these guys get away with only 2.4 million by Gary Bowser? Bowser. That was his name. Oh, it's 14 million. There you go.
Because they were smart enough to settle, and he tried to fight.
Yeah, Bowser was selling pirated Switch games, which is a whole other ball game. Okay.
And see, that I agree with.
Yeah.
You know, if I guess there were X amount. I think it was in the thousands, but copies of Tears of the Kingdom came out before the game even released.
Crazy. What did he think was going to happen?
That's awful.
Yeah. He got off light, honestly. Once these guys started a Discord and Patreon, the writing was on the wall. I think that's what did them in once they were started getting paid for this stuff. If they had operated like the old days, they could have gotten away with it, but not when you start making money and hosting an area for people to share stuff. Copyright law does not have an exception for passion. These guys knew what they were getting into. Nintendo is well known for its scorched earth approach to game piracy. This is true. What exactly did they expect? And then the last one was Milky Mind. Yes, copyright law is the issue here, but not because of piracy. Plenty of people use emulators without pirating the games. Many of them are even Switch owners. And Yuzu was clear that they didn't support or encourage piracy. The issue is that is the clause of the DMCA that prohibits circumventing copy protection technology, such as DRM. It effectively makes it illegal to even make backup copies of games you've bought. This is actually a huge loss for game preservation and other forms of media. In the end, pirates will still find ways to pirate the games they want. The only real losers are the paying customers who just want to play the legal games they own on PC, Steam Deck, etc.
Which is true.
Oh yeah.
Because for me, if I used to take my Switch to work with me so that I could play on my lunch break.
Yeah.
But it's easier, like, especially now, pretty much everybody has a laptop available for work. So it's easier for me to throw an emulator up on my laptop and play that on my lunch break. Or
right on.
when I'm in the middle of a sleepy meeting and need to keep myself awake and pretend like I'm engaging.
Yeah.
Everybody does it. Don't look at me like that, guys. But you know what I'm saying? Like, the technology that did that. I remember when Sony, I hated it with the PS3. Like, certain things, certain burn CDs. Like, I played the burn CDs because my child was like 1 and 2 at the time, and scratching the heck out of everything.
Yes.
And I couldn't play my burn discs on my PlayStation 3 most of the time, and I'd be like, another cupboard.
Yeah.
Like, why? And then you get to the PlayStation 4, and I used to be able to have backups of stuff on my thumb drive. And I go to play it in a PS4, and it's like, it can't play. And I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Like, why did you take this ability away from me? And that's so rude.
Yeah.
It's stuff that I own.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Why can't I do it? And yes, they are 100% right. The software that prevents them from making backup copies of their own, absolutely, that's what got them, was because they were circumventing it. However, we should be able to make backup copies.
Yeah, 100% yes.
but in this world, like, there's those people, and they're gonna try to share it, and then the other people are just gonna try to take advantage and get it.
Yeah.
But companies could do something like, I request, like, a request form. Like, I request to do a backup of this. And and then getting that backup that's protected and registered to like a specific person or something, so that if suddenly like it's being used by 1,000 people, it can be tracked, and then that can be like somehow like a remote activation, like, you know, some cars have where they can shut it down if it's stolen.
Yeah,
something built into it where like Nintendo can be like, oh, boom, here you go.
Right on.
They could try to do something like that. I know that's time and money, but you know, obviously you're getting him from suing all these people anyway. Just throw it into doing something like that.
Hilarious. Let's finish out the comments real quick. We've got GG Lounge. What channel are you talking about? Can you send a link?
On the Dad and Kids Play.
Oh, it looks like your son already got him. Dad and Kids.
Yeah, hang on.
Right on.
He said Dad and Kicks, but it's Dad and Kids.
Oh.
I don't know how to get it.
Right on. We thank you for trying to help though.
Maybe I can send it to my kid and he can put it up.
There you go. Oh, there he goes. Oh. Right on.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Dad and Kids Play. Right on. I think my son watches that.
It's such a great channel.
Yeah.
It's such a great channel.
Right on. While you're doing that, I'm gonna see about getting some of this stuff wrapped up real quick.
Nope. Cute. Sheesh. Everything just started playing. Okay.
Shoot, man, I was trying to find how many units have been sold of the portal. I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything on that. Maybe they'll let the cat out of the bag, you know, sooner or later. But they have been doing pretty well, as far as I can tell.
All right, Junior, throw that up in the chat.
Right on. But I think that's all I've got for you. Freaking do you have anything else? Anything you've seen?
I think we hit everything. I'm still kind of loopy from
yeah.
from everything this week. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not 100%.
Oh man.
But yeah, I think I hit it all. That's all I wanted was the Dad and Kids Play for that gentleman that asked.
Right on.
I sent it to you in chat. I don't know if you can pull it up real quick because you actually have the share screen too. Okay. Sweet. Yep. Let me copy that. And then they've got a secondary channel, and it's got a lot of gaming stuff, but fighting games. If you want somebody that does tutorials on fighting games, this is your channel. Yeah. 1,000%, not even 100%, 1,000%. There you go, JT Gamer, and that's coming from Gamer. So let's see, GG. Haha. Here, let me put this one up. Hold on. Let me see if it'll still go. Nope, it won't. But let me see. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna see if I can do this again. Nope, didn't. You're so TMPP. He says, "Oh haha, I just about to post the link." There you go. Right on. You're just a couple steps ahead, only by a little bit. Buddy. Yeah. it'll at the very least be in the chat. Yes, for anybody who needs it. But yes, I think that's all we've got for you. Freaking thank you guys, everyone who tuned in, whether you commented or didn't. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, right on. But I will talk to you after here in a second, and I'll just close this out real quick. Okay, bye guys. All right, very great live stream. It was really lean this time, crazy. But
If you like the live streams, you like the videos, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. It's the best thing you can do for the channel. Make sure that you take a look at Gamer Geeks X and her YouTube. We have it all in the description, and we all really appreciate that. Thank you. But until the next live stream, keep it casual. Peace.